Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Again with you, Omar from Brownsburg Motorsports. Today we have a 2015 Kia Optima, and we're going to be showing you step by step on how to remove and replace the rear rotors and pads. I will drop the link in the description below for the tools I used and for the parts I used. I'm going with the OEF ceramic pads and rotors. So let's go ahead and jump straight to it. All right, so we have our wheel off. The first thing we want to do is we want to retract the piston on the caliper. Now I do have a tool for that, but for those of you who don't have the caliper tool, I'm going to use a flathead. I'm going to try and stick it between the pad and the caliper, so between this pad and the caliper. So I'm getting it from the side here, and I'm going to see if I can just try to pull. I don't know if you guys could see the caliper moving. There we go. Let me do some more. Just so you guys can see it. There we go, perfect. And now our piston on the caliper is pushed all the way, and our caliper is moving freely. I'm gonna grab my 14 millimeter. I believe they are 14. Let's double check. Yep, 14 millimeters that holds the caliper bolts. We have one right there, and we have one right there. Got my ratchets. That's one. There you go. All right, loose enough. I can move it with my hand. That's the first one. And the second bolt's right up top. Perfect. We got the second bolt as well. Both of them are 14 millimeters. Now, when we pull our caliper, you can see the piston on the caliper is pushed all the way in. It was probably about here earlier because the pads are low and the rotors are not in the best shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and just push that right there for now. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and remove the pads. Let me see. Just to kind of pry them out to the flathead. First one, and the second one. Alright, second one is out. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the brake hardware as well, because we're gonna replace that. I'm just using a flathead. And now we're gonna move on to the back, so we can remove the caliper bracket. Caliper bracket is held on with two bolts. One of them is behind a control arm knuckle, and the other one is on top, accessible. So let me get the camera in that angle and show you what we're gonna do. All right, so that's our caliper bracket right there. We have the first bolt over there. The second bolt is accessible through here, so we have to loosen this control arm over here. Yep, it is a 19 millimeter. I just have my gun right here. There we go. You can use a ratchet, or if you have a power tool. Don't forget the washer. Alright, now I'm going to grab my hammer and I'm going to tap that bolt out, and I'm also going to loosen it from the inside as well. Let me show you. So that's the other end of the control arm. This is it. I'm going to loosen it from there as well. Both of which I believe are 19 millimeter. Let me double check. Now for this I'm going to use my ratchet, because I don't think my gun is accessible. Let me see if I can get that. It is a 19. Wow, seized on there. I'm just gonna loosen this a little bit. All right, I think I loosened that inside bolt enough. So now we can, let me see if I can push that a little further. I'm gonna use a punch tool. There we go, perfect. Now it's loose. Okay, So I think whoever did the job last time put those bolts backward, or it could be just me. Let me see if I can release that. I'm gonna pry on it a little bit. There we go, perfect. Okay. I don't know if it was backward or not, but when I'm gonna put this back, I'm gonna put it in backward this way. So that way the bolt comes out of this way without having any issues. And now, I'm just gonna pry the control arm out. But at least enough to access that pin. I'm gonna grab my pry bar. Let me see if I can hammer it down a little bit. There we go. I just had to pry it up. I wanted to pry it down at first, but up I guess would work as well. The control arm out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the caliper bracket bolts, which are 12mm, both of them. Okay, first one. Right there. Second one, I might need a Alright, I'm gonna use my power ratchet now. This is pretty loose. Alright, that's one. Right there. I think I dropped the washer. Yes, dropped the washer. That's the caliper bracket bolt. That's the first one. Now for the second one. Alright. So it's a weird design, but that's how they have it on these Kia Optimas and Hyundai Sonatas. The process is the same actually, and even the parts are the same. So we have our caliper bracket out. What we want to do right now, let me bring the camera up front here. What we want to do right now, we want to go ahead and lubricate the guide pins. So I'm going to leave the boot over there. I'm just going to pull the guide pin. That's the first one. Come on. There we go. And that's the second one. That's our guide pin. I'm going to grab some brake grease and I'm going to lubricate them both. Alright, I got some brake grease over here. I use CRC brake grease. You can pick it up at your local parts store, AutoZone or Ali. All of them would have it. Or you can order it online. I will drop the link in the description below for the parts and for the tools that I used. I'm in no way selling these. I am an affiliate. I'm on the affiliate program, so I get a very slight, small commission, and by that I mean probably like a couple cents. All right, so let me go ahead and put this one back in the caliper. Right there. Make sure push it all the way in, and I'm gonna grab my brush. I'm gonna clean up where the caliper goes a little bit as well. I mean where the brake hardware goes. Sorry, I'm just gonna try and get off some of that rust that's on there. Yes, perfect. Our caliper bracket is ready. Now we can go ahead and remove our rotor. Our rotor is held on with two, I think it's two of them. Yes, with two Phillips screws. So I'm gonna just grab my PB blaster and just throw some in there because this is pretty rusted. And then I'm gonna grab my bit because I'm not gonna use my screwdriver. I'm gonna use the bit on my gun. And I'm just gonna tap it a few times. Oops. I might have overdone it. But this will basically break some of the rust. It's not gonna get all the rust that's on the screw, but it will get some of it. Gonna grab my gun. Perfect. They are rusted a little bit, not so much, but they are a little bit rusted. So it was definitely a good idea to throw some of that PP blaster. All right. Now we can go ahead and get our rotor. It doesn't seem like I want to budge, so I'm gonna try my small hammer, see if that will move it a little bit. There we go. Awesome. With that, our rotor is out. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my wire brush on my gun, and I'm gonna try and clean up some of the rust over here. Awesome. Let's check that bearing as well. Move nicely. Yep. All right. Gonna grab some grease, and I'm gonna put it all around here. And I do this so surface rust does not basically pop up on this, because the last thing we need is that surface rust on the hub, because that could cause some brake chirping, and the reason for that is uneven surfaces. Any uneven surfaces against the rotors, the hub, or the wheel will cause some brake chirping. And what will create uneven surfaces, or one of the things that will create that, is some rust on some buildup rust on these hubs. So I always throw a little bit of grease in there, and it also makes the job for the next person easier. So whoever's gonna do this brake job in the future, if it's not me, those rotors will come off right away, whether they're rusted or not. All right, let me grab the parts now. All right, I got my new rotor. And let's make sure we match up those holes for the screws. I cleaned it up with some brake cleaner already. Okay, now I got my Phillips screws. That was a piece of rust that just fell off. Alright, the other thing I'm going to transfer is that bushing over here, or rubber piece. It covers, basically, you can see the brake shoes behind it. So I'm just going to transfer that. This is what I'm talking about. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna grab our brake caliper. I'm gonna install those two 12 millimeters in the back. I hope you guys could see that. Let me see. The angle is good, yes. First one we have is this one right here. And make sure both of them are the same length. Yes, both of them are the same length, so there isn't one for the top, one for the bottom. I'm gonna start tightening this with my hand. Then the bottom one. Also gonna try and tighten it with my hand. Perfect. Now I'm gonna grab my ratchet that had the 12 millimeter on it. All right. Start with the bottom one. All right, that's tight enough. There we go. There we go. Now we can put that bolt back. it loose enough from the other side? Yes. Now this is gonna be a little bit of a pain because you do have to slide that back in. Let me grab my what did I use earlier? Alright, here we go. My pry bar. No, can't do that. Let's see if I can do it this way. There we go. Now I can probably tap it a little bit. It is going back steadily. I'm using a 1 pound hammer, so it seems like it's stuck, like really bad, but it's not really that bad. I'm just using my 1 pound hammer. Okay, let me see now how much space we got. We gotta see if I can use this. No. Still not fully in there. So what I'm going to use is, I have an alignment tool. I call it an alignment tool. It's basically this. Get it in there, and it aligns the bushing with where the bolt would go. There we go. I think now we can go ahead and put our bolts back. Grab the washer and the nut for it. Perfect. Now we need a 19mm wrench and 19mm ratchet right there. So we hold the nut on the back with the wrench and we tighten away. There we go. Perfect. That is tight. Tight as it was, if not more. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the one on the inside as well. That was on this side here earlier that I showed you. I didn't loosen that all the way. Probably like 5 to 7 threads. Okay. Perfect. Now we carry on with our brake job. I'm gonna bring the camera here for you guys. And I got our new pads. It comes with a new hardware. All right, 1 and 2. That's one. I'm gonna put these back. My light is dying. All right, so luckily we're almost done. I'm gonna grab my new pads now. Let's make sure, see if the pads have any. Okay, so just like on the front, I did drop a video for the front. If you guys doing that, you can check it out. But just like on the front pads, we have 2 notches on the rear pad, which is one that goes on the rear, and 2 notches on the one that goes on the front. Now, before we put these pads back, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grease them up a little bit, or grease up the edges, so that way they sit nicely on the new caliper hardware. So just the edges of the pads. Just a little bit, so they move freely. Perfect. First one, go there. second one. All right, our pads are back on. I got me my other lights just so I can make sure everything sits smoothly. Okay, perfect. And all right, now we grab our 14mm bolts. That's the first one. That's the second one. Grab my ratchets and my 14mm. You're gonna tighten away. Okay, I think this one is aligned. Let me tighten the first one, or like some of it. Okay, so the first one is almost done. I think I need to tap that a little bit just to make sure it's sitting there. There we go. Perfect. I just had to take it off and put it back. And when you're tightening these, make sure those guide pins are not spinning along with the bolts. You want to hold them. Oops. There we go. Perfect. All right, this sums up our video for today on how to remove and replace the rear rotors and pads, brake hardware on a 2015 Kia Optima or Hyundai Sonata. This procedure should be the same for both of these cars from like 2011 up until 17 maybe. I think 17 still had the same body style Sonata, or like the same brake style and basically assembly. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comment section below, and like always, make sure you like and follow for more videos.